right, all y'all. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. And one of the best things about Wellness Wednesdays is you can record it and share it with people later. If this is your first experience, you're part of a group here. We're all part of a company called LifeVantage, which is a nutrigenomic-based company that's global and publicly traded that gives us an opportunity to work together to help improve each other's lives. So I'm grateful that you're here, and so thank you for being here. And we're gonna talk tonight specifically about something that's probably more important than ever. And it really came to light today as I was working on a couple people. I'm Dr. Brett Brimhall, so I'm a chiropractor with a focus on nutrition, stress management, and a lot of other things. But I, right now, it's super windy outside, like super windy. And in Arizona, we're already blooming, right? So guess what the environment is producing right now for people that struggle with allergies? Like something, right? A whole bunch of something. All right. And I talked to somebody else today that they're going through a divorce. They're going through a divorce, not a pretty divorce, a pretty ugly divorce. Been married for like 30 plus years. Some really crazy things happening. And so she's got a lot of emotional stress going on in her life right now. And then I talked to another individual that he was doing really, really well. We got him off all the foods that were bad for him, and he was taking his vitamins good, and he wasn't drinking soda. And he decided to do an experiment on himself, which means he decided to eat fast food multiple times and drink soda again. And he is suffering because of that. So our environment sometimes is the product of things that we do to ourselves, and sometimes it's the product of things that happen to us or around us. And all of that is the environment. So you're not just a physical being. I truly believe you're a physical being and a spiritual being. And there's lots of things that can improve you, and there's things that can definitely wreak havoc on you. So no matter what's going on in your life right now, outside of you, now what? Whether it's high emotional stress, whether it's high financial stress, whether it's just a blissful time in life and you're on vacation in Hawaii all the time and there's no COVID present, like no matter what your environment is, now what? Like, what are you going to do with it and about it? So right now, as I've looked at the state of where the world is, everybody's feeling it in different ways. Some people have, and I want you to ask yourself this question, like, how much fear do you feel? Like when you think of decisions that you have to make each day, whether it's about who you hang out with, the job you have, the environment you're around, emotionally and or physically, like the decisions you're making, like how much of those decisions do you feel like you're making out of fear versus out of choice? Right? And that can go back to, or can go in a lot of directions where you look at emotional, physical. Now, why that matters when we're talking about Wellness Wednesday and environment, I want you to know your brain is not telling you the truth. Its job is only to alert you of any possible potential threat. That's its only job, right? So it's not even going to tell you the truth most of the time. It's going to give you any possible potential threat. And if you really want to know what this is like, you just ask a lady to explain how they got from point A to point Z in like a millisecond. Like there was a logical step to be between here and there, but as a guy, like you have to have them slow it down, like to 0.1 speed, so we can understand how they got there. So here's what I want you to capitalize on. How well you handle your environment is a result of how healthy you are. How healthy you are physically, how healthy you are emotionally, and really that comes down to what tools and resources and knowledge that you have and how well you've applied that. Right? So, because no matter where you are in the world, no matter what your past experience has been, all that determines is where you currently are. And now I want to ask you, are you open to learning maybe other tools that you could possibly utilize to play this game of life differently? One individual I talked to today, she played Division I golf, and I asked her because she had some show. I said, "Well, how many clubs do you take?" I don't even know how many clubs are in a golf club bag. I have no idea, right? But she said there's a bunch. I don't remember what it was like 14 or something like that, or 12 or 14. Like, that is a lot. I said, well, why don't you just take one? Like, why don't you just take one? Right? Because I need different clubs for different shots. So no matter what your experience in life, like for instance, the environment is crazy windy out there right now. So because I'm living this world I am right now, and it happens to be March in Arizona, and we're blooming like crazy, right? I can't control the wind, but I can control what I do with the wind. All right. And how well I'm prepared. And we want to be what I call proactive in our health, not reactive. Unfortunately, most of us function from a reactive perspective, not a proactive perspective. So, proactively, like, what can you do? Like, and you think about, what are you currently doing? What is your current like plan every single day to stay healthy? And that starts with how well you slept the night before. All right. And so here's some key components. All of you are using something, all of you are doing some things, right, to improve your health. What if there were better and more efficient tools that you could utilize, right? Maybe there are ways you could look at the world differently that would help. Would you be open to that? So one of the great blessings that LifeVantage has been for me is just given me an opportunity to take the knowledge that I've been blessed with since I was super young, the way I see the world. Right. And good, bad, or indifferent, it's given me a perspective that life happens for me, not to me. It's put me in a perspective of like, I have I have a lot of choices of what I could do to help improve my health, and I'm personally responsible. So that's my belief system, which means then if I am where I am based upon my own choices, that means if I want to change where I am, I can change my choices. So then now it becomes to like, which clubs do you want to play with? Okay. So here's a couple of key things that I want to kind of talk about, because this next month, we're going to talk a lot about when it comes to environmental health and specifically immune health, because those go hand in hand. Whether you're talking, this to me, this goes back to the adage of, the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, right? How do you want your porridge? You want it too hot, too cold, or just right? So your immune system, you don't want it too hot or too cold. You want it just right. You don't want an overreactive immune system, allergies, autoimmune conditions, and you don't want an underreactive immune system, sick all the time. All right. You want it to be just right. You want it to recognize the threat and then respond to the threat and then go back to cleanup. Because when the immune system's not dealing with an active infection, it's on cleanup duty. Right. So it's keeping everybody healthy, it's cleaning up the debris, and then its job is to repair other stuff. That's its job. It's out there kind of seeking for the bad guys. All right. So LifeVantage had just released a brand new immune health drink. I'm super excited about that. Next week, that's going to be the focus. I'm going to spend some time explaining what it is, because it's not even available yet other than for people that are already distributors for the company. But I want you to know, like right now, ask yourself the question, like, what are you currently doing to make sure your immune system is functioning optimally? Right. And if you don't have a solution, you want to make sure you're hopping on next Wednesday and listen to this. Okay. Absolutely. Because it may be a club you want in your bag. It may not. Like, it may be a tool you want to use. It may not. Like, you might find, oh, that tool is actually better than the club I have. I want to use that one. Totally up to you. But I want people to be available, because here's really where the perspective I am right now is that no matter how much I don't like what's going on in the world right now, when it comes to just what's happening in our society, now what? How do I help my family? How do I help my patients? How do we help each other to make sure that our personal immune systems function as they should? All right. And it does matter. So, unfortunately, the rules are super simple. We just don't always do them. All right. So, I'm going to give you a couple key things that are super helpful to do, right, to help your immune system. Okay. And with kind of a focus on allergies, right? Because right now there's a lot of that's happening in the world. And if you're not in that season yet, guess what's going to happen here shortly for people that don't live in Arizona? Things are going to start blooming. All right. So when it comes to having a normal response with your environment, let's just talk about allergies for a minute here. then you're getting a pollen of some kind that comes, whether it's like an airborne allergy or an allergy from food, or you're dealing with an allergy from pets. Your body recognizes a substance and then it reacts to it. All right. So think of it like dust. All right. So, and allergies are a lot like this. People have told me before, well, I didn't have allergies, until like I had my third baby. It's like, huh, that's interesting. So was it the third baby's fault, or what had changed between the first baby and the third baby? Allergies are a lot like a bucket. Okay. And once that bucket gets full, stuff spills over. All right. So if you could find a way to like empty the bucket, you're not going to spill over as much. So one of the key things is managing stress levels. And that goes back to some simple steps. One is getting adequate sleep, and that's consistent sleep. I call it treating yourself like a baby. Go to sleep on time, wake up on time, at the same time, feed yourself on time. Rest time, play time, sleep time. Okay, super important. All right. The other thing is water. So for an allergy to really cause havoc, it's got to get into mucous membranes and your body can't flush it out. So what happens if you get allergy? You get a runny nose and itchy eyes. Why? Because the body's trying to flush it, right? So what's it going to flush it with? Well, hopefully water, right? So how much water you have in you is going to determine whether or not it can flush it out. And the only thing that's water is water. So what if I decide I want to drink orange juice instead? Does that wash as efficiently as water or soda or whatever else? Is it as efficient as flushing? No. All right. So you can use other nutrients, right, that are dense. So one of the nutrients that are helpful to keep those mucous membranes healthy. So having a healthy mucous membrane that's your vitamin D, that's your vitamin E, that's things like quercetin, right? All those things are super critical. That's vitamin C, that's zinc, right? That's elderberry extract. There's different things that you can utilize to keep the mucous membranes healthy. All right. A lot of people don't realize is the mucous membranes are continuous from basically your skin is the same tissue as your inside your mouth and down your intestinal tract. So good bacteria, having a healthy gut response matters to having a healthy immune response. So that's probiotics, that's prebiotics, and there's things called postbiotics, right? So having a healthy gut environment is going to have a drastic impact on the health of the immune system that ties directly into allergies. Okay. So a couple of the things that are don'ts are what else would cause more mucus? Anything that's a carbohydrate. So anything that the carbohydrate can turn to sugar. Unfortunately, anybody ever had ice cream before? And when you eat it, what happens? You get mucusy, right? So it's dairy and sugar. They'll just create more mucus. So the more mucus it is, the harder it is for the body to flush it out. And also, once that's there, and we've all known that people that get allergy then turn into can turn into sinus infection because bacteria can grow on that stuff. So limiting those foods and those drinks that create more mucus, and then increasing those things like water that can decrease that. So a couple of things that I like to tell people to do with their water, you can add things like lemon juice. You can add little things like peppermint oil, or things like that actually allow the mucous membranes to flush out easier. A diffuser, those are great things to use because again, a diffuser with even some good essential oils can help to actually kind of grab onto the pollen and pull it out. A lot of people don't think about this, but they're air filters. When was the last time they were changed? Right? When was the last time those air filters were changed? Because as soon as those filters start running, their job is to like grab onto, right, those pollens are there. So change the air filters. Okay. Or you can even upgrade to maybe a different air filter. This can be part of that. All right. Okay. Now going back, we talked about gut health. We talked about things to do, things not to do. All right. Another thing you can personally do that is Epsom salt baths, sweat, infrared saunas. Those type of things can have a drastic impact on your body's ability to eliminate the environmental pollens. Okay. So now this isn't an exhaustive list, obviously. Okay. But it's a phenomenally good list to start with. And really, it doesn't matter if you're old or young, like you can start with doing these things. Right. So start doing those things. Pay attention to your bucket. How full is it? What can I do to eliminate the fullness of my bucket, physically and or emotionally? What can I do to help it drain out the bottom, right? It, water, decreasing the toxicities, right? All of that. If you'll do those things, what's going to happen long term is your bucket will be emptier so you can handle the environment better. So please use these things, pass them on to your friends and family. Next week, we're going to focus directly on immune health and the new product specifically and how that can be something maybe you want to use in your family's health. So if you have somebody that's got a lot of problem with environmental stuff, as well as somebody that's dealing with things when it comes to like wanting to have a more healthy immune response, something you don't want to miss. So thanks again for hopping on tonight, and we'll kind of stop the recording next Wednesday, same time, same place.
Thanks for watching, and remember, one change can have an enormous effect. Remember to subscribe, hit the bell and the like, and we'll see you next time on Love to Live.